96.7 KCAL rocks. It is Patrick in the morning, and on your Thursday, it's time to talk some sports with our guy, Pep. Pep, what's going on?
Yo, what is up? Let's do this, man. It is a great time of the year for sports fans. I know Dodger fans waking up a little bit, maybe a little concerned in this series with the Padres, as San Diego got Game 2 last night of their divisional series by a score of 5-3. So the series is tied 1-1. Going down to San Diego for Game 3 on Friday. And Patrick, here's the thing, too, about last night's loss to the Padres, if you're a Dodgers fan. Clayton Kershaw didn't take the loss, but he was the starting pitcher for the Dodgers in that game. And, that was one of the games where I was thinking, if Kershaw steps up and he has a massive game, he's going to change that narrative, right, about his postseason performances. It wasn't awful, but it sure wasn't great.
Yeah, kind of felt like he didn't necessarily have his stuff. He didn't have it.
No, and he didn't. And again, it's not like he was the reason the Dodgers lost. I mean, He wasn't the reason they had a chance to win, but he wasn't the reason they lost. So I was just hoping that he would have a big performance, especially considering the Padres through their ace. I guess you could say Yu Darvish is the ace, or maybe Blake Snell, who the Dodgers will see in game number 3. But the big takeaway is the series is tied, and remember, this is only a 5-game series, so every game is very important. And I guess you would call Game 3 maybe the most critical game of the series, because if you go up 2-1, you're going for the knockout punch in Game 4.
Maybe it's the curse of the gray goose that landed in right field and was interrupting the game. Did you see the goose land on the outfield, and they just kept playing?
Yeah, I stepped out of the room for one moment. My kids were going nuts. They're like, "There's a goose on the field." I'm like, "What do you mean there's a goose?" I was like, "What does that mean? Is that a baseball term, a goose? What does that mean?" And they're like, no, an actual goose with a beak and feathers is on the field right now.
Pep, I was like, Grey Goose Vodka, this is your opportunity. Where are you?
This is your chance. Capitalize on it.
Yeah, your mascot is on the field, the star right now.
See, I almost thought of it in the opposite way. I thought it was going to be like a rally goose. If the Dodgers came back and won, it's like, we got a rally goose. We heard about the rally monkey before, of course, right? But a rally goose, but it didn't happen.
We'd be seeing geese everywhere if that did happen.
So, Patrick, Dodgers and Pods tied at 1. The Phillies and Braves also tied at 1 in the National League over the American League. Houston's up 1-0. The Yankees are up 1-0 in their respective playoff series. It sure looks like Houston and the Yankees are on a collision course to meet in the American League Championship Series. I could be wrong, but it sure looks like that.
Especially after that really wild game that we have where, basically we had the whole game. The Mariners are 2 strikes away from winning it and then just grooved 2 fastballs right, and Yordan Alvarez absolutely pulverized that ball and entered the stratosphere, it felt like. He hit it into South America.
You know what? Something about the Mariners, they don't like doing it easy, right? They like drama. Either coming back and winning in a dramatic way or losing a game in a dramatic way. They don't do it easy. They like to take the hard road.
And I think that is the lesson in the playoffs, and I think the Dodgers are getting into it with the Padres in a similar thing. It's not going to be easy. So now we've been punched in the mouth. So now it's like, how do you respond? And it is how it is. These are the good teams, so it's not going to be easy.
No, it's not. It's not. But something about Seattle, they're like, we're not going to take the easy way. Let's make this as difficult as possible.
It's like Rocky. You have to take 30 punches before you're finally going to knock Apollo out.
Exactly. You're exactly right. All right, let's talk about a little NFL this weekend. We got some big games. The Rams are playing the Panthers, and of course the Panthers made news this week, Patrick, because they fired their head coach. We're only a couple games into the season. They say, Matt Rule, you're gone. So maybe the Panthers will come out inspired and play their best game of the season against the Rams. And for the Rams, you're just trying to get that offense going. So there's a lot of different storylines going into this game.
I'm most shocked at the Rams. The Super Bowl hangover must be real, but I keep believing that one of these weeks they're going to figure it out. It just seems like they're too good of a team. They do maybe need a spark. Did you see OBJ was talking about possibly maybe coming back to the Rams? For some reason, if you saw him come back to the Rams, I could see him sparking the offense. I could see it.
Yeah, you know what? I was going to bring that up too. Yeah, there is still conversations that OBJ, Odell Beckham Jr. could return to the Rams, and that would be great. But Patrick, I think they need a running game. I think it hinges on what they're doing with the rushing attack. But I could be wrong. They got some great receivers. They got a great tight end. I just think they need a more balanced offense.
You're totally right. And for whatever reason, they are unable to run the ball. I mean, I think we were really ready for Cam Akers to really take a step forward this year, and it has not happened. It looks like either Henderson or someone else. Something is up with that running game. I'm very surprised about that. Maybe we're kind of realizing maybe how good Whitworth really was, even at his age.
Yeah, Andrew Whitworth, man. I mean, like, he was old and he had some gray in the beard and all those things, but he was great on the offensive line, and he retired. And you think, okay, well, let's get some young guy to plug in there. Maybe it's not that easy to play up on the offensive line.
No, and a leader and the attitude.
Yes.
I mean, it was a lot.
No, it was a lot. You're definitely right. That it was a lot. So that's a game that has storylines. Maybe the big one people are excited about, of course, is the Bills versus the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes versus Josh Allen, probably the two best quarterbacks, arguably, in the NFL right now. Maybe your AFC Championship preview again. That could be a very big game, especially with the Kansas City Chiefs looking like the Kansas City Chiefs again.
Yeah, I think this game is going to be a knockdown dragout. And I do believe this is the AFC Championship game preview.
All the Charger fans and Raider fans and everybody. Well, maybe not the Raiders. They're down on their luck right now. But those other AFC teams, yeah, everyone's kind of looking up at Buffalo and Kansas City right now as the teams to beat.
Yeah.
And over in the NFC, Patrick, Sunday night foosball, we got Cowboys versus Eagles. Now, the last couple of years, we'd be like, oh, man, they gave Sunday night football a real sleeper, man. This game stinks. But no, this is actually one of the big games this week.
Yeah, it is, man. Can't wait to see how Cooper Rush does. I mean, look at him. I mean, he's 5-1 as the starter. No, excuse me. I believe he's 5-0 as the starter. He's 5-1 as the total record because he didn't start that one game that they did end up losing. He's managing the game well. I mean, dare we say there's a quarterback controversy. It's tough to go against when it takes so much effort to get stuff working right. I feel for the Cowboys actually here. They don't want to upset the apple cart. It's tough to win in the NFL, and they're winning. This is going to be a great game.
Yeah, what's the old adage? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. They're rolling along right now. You don't want to jump in there and put your fingerprints all over it, and all of a sudden it goes sideways. You're like, oh, man, we shouldn't have touched it. It was going so well right now. But Dak Prescott is getting healthy, and this actually buys him more time. It's not like he has to rush and try to carry the team. No pun intended. He doesn't have to rush back and carry the team because Cooper Rush is doing a great job leading this offense just enough to get them wins. They're winning ball games, and maybe they'll be the first team to beat Philadelphia this season.
I think Cooper Rush is kind of teaching us, don't try to do too much, man. Just let it happen, and he's doing it.
He's letting it happen, man. He's letting it rip, and so far so good for the Dallas Cowboys. I thought they were dead in the water a couple weeks ago. I was like, well, they're already looking ahead to next season. This season's already a wash, and all of a sudden they're one of the best teams in the NFL.
That Dan Quinn defense, too, that has to be part of this. That's a big thing. Tony Pollard is running the ball decent, and that defense, it's working.
Yeah, if you can run the football and play defense, you're going to win a lot of football games. I'm not reinventing the wheel here. We've said that for a long, long time. So that's the Cowboys, exactly what they're doing. But a big test on Sunday Night Football should be a good one against the Philadelphia Eagles. And finally, Patrick, NBA. Listen, the regular season starts next week, but we got preseason games going on right now. And for our Southern California teams, the Lakers and the Clippers, plenty of storylines. Of course, with the Lakers, they got a new head coach. They got Darvin Ham. They brought in Patrick Beverley to maybe offset Russell Westbrook, or maybe it'll work in combination with, who knows. And then for the Clippers, man, our guy Kawhi Leonard coming back from a torn ACL. He's finally healthy. Paul George is finally healthy after that elbow injury. They got John Wall. Remember, they got John Wall. This could be a very good Clippers team. So when you look at the Lakers and the Clippers, there's a lot to be excited about for both teams, but there's a lot of storylines, again, before the season begins.
There is. It's exciting kind of to see what's going to happen. Are the Lakers going to be better? I'm going to predict that they're not going to be, and I'll tell you why. In this latest preseason game, you can really see where Patrick Beverley is trying to call a huddle, and already you can see Russell Westbrook's all pissed off and mad, and he doesn't want to get in the huddle, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be turmoil, man. We'll see what happens, but I could see the Clippers doing well and the Lakers not doing well. That's just the feeling I got so far.
The Clippers on paper, I really like the way their team is built. I think they've got a lot of talent in different spots. And again, if they can stay healthy with our guy Kawhi Leonard, the pride of King High School in Riverside, I think they're going to be good. But the Lakers, I'll say this real quick, Patrick. I looked at their box score last night, and I know it's just preseason, and I was like, oh, man, Russell Westbrook only had like 5 points. He was 0 for 2 from three-point land. I think he was maybe 1 for 4 or 1 for 5 from the floor. And I'm like, oh, it's probably because he only played like like 5 minutes or 7 minutes in the game. And I looked at, he played like 26 minutes. And I'm like, oh, he should have done a lot more in 26 minutes on the court. So that's not a good sign if you're a Lakers fan, because LeBron James had numbers. Anthony Davis had numbers. They, put up some good stats, but Russell Westbrook did not. I know it's only preseason, but I was a little concerned that he got that much playing time and had that little effect on the game.
It's the same here we go again feeling. We will catch up on all this stuff on Monday with our guy, Pep. Pep, time out to get your stuff.
Hey, and don't sleep on the hockey season. The NHL is here as well. Get my stuff on Inland Sports all over Instagram, all over Twitter, and we are hitting YouTube hard. We got the Inland Sports YouTube channel. Check it out.
Thanks, Pep.